We have had some juicy development information on various Star Citizen features recently. The EUPU, Persistent Universe feature team, answered a load of questions and talked about various feature plans in the Star Citizen Live EUPU gameplay features episode. They are looking at mining, refining, long-distance probing, making the Starfarer into a refiner, and lots of other things. There was a huge amount here, and I will summarize it for you. They are working on a laser trip mine as part of environmental gameplay, a gadget that will need to be avoided or overcome by players wanting to get past them. Eventually, we'll be able to place them ourselves as well. They want traps like this to help make the environment more hostile and interesting. Long-distance probing. So, this is hugely important to the game for exploration, finding missions, sort of doing your own thing, finding a load of gameplay area, but it is effectively similar to how I remember scanning down points of interest in EVE Online. You'll be able to send out probes in a star system that you're in, and then you'll be able to basically ping and reveal points of interest and objects there. Asteroids, ships, stations, bases, all that sort of stuff. Multiple probes can be used to triangulate a location and create a quantum travel beacon for you to travel to. This location can be saved, shared, or sold. There will be different types of probes, and they'll have different travel times and limited fuels and stuff like that. They are looking at signature analysis gameplay as well, so that's all going to be using the same signatures that we have for IR, EM, and CS, and potentially you're going to be able to work out what you've detected with a probe with signature analysis gameplay, so you're going to be able to go, oh, I know that this is made up of this amount of IR in this sort of location and multiple IR signatures all in these areas. That's a capital ship, but you might mistake a group of fighters for a capital ship in some situations. It's not going to be sort of like perfect, it's going to be more of an art. The more time you've spent probing and the more data that you have from those probes, the greater your information pool that you'll have to then make a better analysis and have more precise data. You'll have to make a call basically at some point whether a location is worth scanning more or traveling to or just ignoring. Once we have this in as a feature, this is going to allow for a massive amount of gameplay area and content to find, visit, and adventure in. They are going to be able to dynamically spawn in points of interest like derelict ships, dense asteroid fields, pirate bases, alien tech, interesting encounters. This is a big part of exploration for me, and I need it. It's so important. It is most of the gameplay that I want from Star Citizen when it comes to exploration and just like doing stuff from my day-to-day activities in-game. Moving on to atmospheric depth damage. Different ships will be able to handle different pressures, allowing some to go deeper or further into places like Crusader without taking damage. But eventually you'll start to take damage and you'll be squished. This system is only being used for Crusader at the moment, but will be able to be used for all gas giants and similar things, and could also be used for things like water pressure as well. So you will take damage by going too deep into gas giants, basically. But yeah, as I said, different ships will be able to take different amounts of pressure. They talked about loot generation on characters as well. The system for this needs to look at item ownership to work out whether an item that you've picked up is stolen or liberated or neutral or whatever. It will spawn appropriate loot based on the area and the loadout of the character that you're looting. It's likely that you'll be able to take the exact items that the NPC was using from their body, and they would have had access to those items in the first place. You'll be able to take their armor if you want, but that might be heavy and unwieldy to be able to do that. That's one of the reasons you need lockers in ships. So you might be able to just change that into their armor then and there if you want, though. But you'll be able to, pick up their weapons and take their gear, and it might spawn some interesting loot in their pockets and backpacks. You'll be able to use scanners to see what's on a character's body and in their backpack and stuff like that, assumedly while they're also alive at some point in the future, because that will give you lots of information like, oh, how do I take this guy down? They're pretty heavily armored. Oh, it's this guy, I'm bounty hunting. Beep, 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 beep. Oh, I need to take this guy down. That's because his name is, I don't know, Gertrude Garfunkel, who's a major narcotics smuggler or something. I don't know, I've gone off on a weird tangent. Harvestables. They're something that they're working on, and they want them to be more than just quick sell items like they are now. They want to have them have more use and more value. Some will be useful to just consume, hom nom nom. Some will be used for science or crafting gameplay. Some will be useful anti-poisons and health items. You're going to be able to extract or refine some of these into useful materials that will then be important for science gameplay and construction, and these are going to be very important to the future rather than just an afterthought to most players like they are now. Crops will be able to be grown on planets and moons, but they are unable to give us any more information at this time. Ship refining. It's a different mechanic than station refining. Ship refining is a very active, sort of in-depth process, whereas station refining is passive. You'll have to analyze the given materials that you're refining and choose what processes you want to use to refine them, and you'll also be preparing and customizing your refinery's reactor, which is where you're going to be doing the refining. But you'll be able to go, well, I'm going to be mostly refining this type of material, so I want to use these acids and this type of reactor and all this sort of stuff. And things may happen to sort of like interrupt that process. Things might require tweaking or adjusting on the fly. You're going to need to pay attention to the temperatures and the processes going on and what's happening in your reactor. You're not going to be able to go AFK, basically. Multiple mining ships might accompany a refinery ship. Prospectors could eject their mining pods for the refiner, which would then tractor those like pods, and they'll suck up the loot in there and then drop the containers back off. The prospectors could then take them back away if they wanted, but you're going to be able to manage what materials you're refining and what you're ejecting. You could then either sell the refined ore straight from the ship, or you could drop it off to a cargo ship to then pick up. So you could actually have this good little loop going on where you have an org that's mining a newly discovered asteroid field, and they might stay there for a good few hours, running an op with multiple mining ships bringing ore to that refiner, and then that refiner dropping off for a cargo ship that fills up by the refining ship and just goes off and then sells to a profitable area, and then they just sort of repeat that cycle. It keeps on pumping out ore, but you've got to be careful. You've got to be careful because there's pirates that might want a slice of that pie, and station refining might produce better yields, but when you're looking at efficiency and literally being able to do it right then and there with a refining ship, you might be able to make a lot more profit. The ship refining design and proof is done as a feature. It's waiting on developer manpower to be in more active development though, but it's apparently going to be soon TM. The Starfarer is going to have some good customization and choices available to players that want to run it as a refueler, as a refiner, as a hauler. You're going to be able to choose how many of your tanks hold raw materials, gas, liquid, refined goods, fuel, or are empty, ready to be used for the refining process, as well as how many refining reactors you have. So you could use it as a hauler in that sort of operation that you mentioned earlier, or as a refiner, or both. In regards to refueling, that is an active development right now for the Starfarer. Players will have a boom arm that attaches to the fuel receiving ship. So from your Starfarer, beep, 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 come and dock with me. The docking system for the boom arm will be the same as the like Connie and P-52 uses. It's not new tech or anything. It's just you'll sort of connect to that boom arm and receive your fuel. As long as you're moving at similar speeds as well, you may be able to fuel and fly at the same time, rather than actually have to be stationary all the time. Ships may get small reserve fuel tanks in the future, they said as well. Refueling is not required for implementation of Pyro, but it is hugely preferable, as it's going to be one of the major ways of refueling there, as they are sort of not going to be many fuel stations to refuel at, and sort of fuel costs are going to be pretty high there, so they want to have it in at the same time, really. Ground vehicles do not currently use the fuel system, but probably will in the future. Resource management. This is a major core system for Star Citizen. It connects ship systems together, moves power and resources between them. It's a few systems like the pipe system that we've previously talked about, sort of like all subsumed together. It needed a large code and system refactor to support it though. They thought it was going to take about 6 months of groundwork to get it started off, but it turned out to be twice that amount of time, and they're still working on this whole system. So they want a single system that covers power, fuel, ammo, etc. Sort of anything that has the moving of resources between systems and items in a ship, or in a structure, or vehicle, or station. It's all going to use the same system. Power going from the shield systems going to the emitter and all that sort of stuff, all moving around, and relays that can be interrupted. That's all part of the resource management system. It's also going to be the system that refueling uses to move fuel from one tank to another. It's going to be a while before we see ships make full use of this system. However, they are now able to start having feature teams look into gameplay for it, and newer features and updates are able to plan for resource management more appropriately as well. Someone working on weapon systems for ships knows that they have to have each weapon powered and ammo supplied and vent heated, etc., making use of that resource management system. They feel ship mining is in a good place. They want some more gameplay content and some more difficult minables for it as well, though. So when we have dynamic asteroid fields and more points of interest, that is going to be awesome. That fleshes out sort of mining gameplay a lot more. So the technicals of mining are largely done, but they need more gameplay area for it. They need other systems to come online, like, yeah, interesting asteroids, more mineable things, a dynamic economy, that sort of stuff. They're going to look at the Orion and strip mining in the future. FPS mining does need some more love, though. Consumables, gadgets, specialized versions of the mining tool are all coming in the future. And that's really it for the Star Citizen Live. It was juicier than normal, as it was a feature team talking about tangible gameplay that we can expect in the short or mid-term. But what do you think? Are you excited by long-distance probing and exploration and sort of general gameplay that might come out of that? Do you like what they were saying about the Starfarer, it being a quite customizable refining ship or hauler or fueler or a mixture of all of them? And do you want to be a farmer, or are you looking forward to doing mining and refining ops in the future? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Oh, what's this? I just found all your search history online. You filthy boy, buying spaceships and going on ship hub. Zin, show a picture of like a sexy ship or something. You should have used NordVPN. It's a VPN, obviously, and it has my seal of approval because I chill for them. Use the links below to get a discount and help protect your data, identity, privacy, and to help with online accessibility. Every month we have a ship giveaway, and June is no different. We are giving away a Mercury Star Runner to one lucky viewer that comments on one of my videos made during June on the YouTubes. Just get involved in the comment section, ask a question, or tell me what you think about the video or the subject we were discussing. Thank you so much to my channel members who have pressed the join button below my videos, and my Patreons as well. Going the extra mile really, really helps the channel. Say thanks for helping the channel, Zin.
Thanks for helping the channel, Zin.
Consider becoming a channel member or Patreon as well, and maybe you'll get some poorly photoshopped naughty spaceship shots. Oh, saucy. Thanks for watching and all your support.